All right, met the last people. Judy, Barry, good for you. Hey, folks, this is our Wednesday night for you Aussies. Look, all you people in North America, you want to win the lottery? Because a little bit about what I'm going to talk about at the end of this call is, I guess, it's something like manifestation, creating the right reality. You know, like Ray says, feed your mind right. And yeah, you look good, Gordon.
Hey, thanks.
He's
It's been a long day.
checking himself in the camera. Now I forgot what I was about to say. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little PowerPoint at the end for feeding your mind right, Ray says, and checking it. But at the same time, lots more. I'm trying to help Adam out here. As you folks, this is Gordon Morton. He's the founder, the CEO. That guy, you know, way back in the very beginning when we were very early taking on this idea, and he said, I take this great big idea, treat it with respect, treat it with honor, treat it with trust. This is the guy that formulated all that. So I'm going to let me help Adam out. I'm going to turn this over. So, folks, here's Gordon Morton. He's the creator of everything you're here to fulfill your dreams. Thanks, Gordon.
Thank you so much this morning. And it's morning for you, brother. It's night here. You might hear like thunderclaps and stuff. There is like a monsoon. I think it's a monsoon. They're saying monsoon, but it's by Utah standards, it's probably not a monsoon. You live in the Philippines, Malcolm. You probably see the real deal. But there is a storm of brewing. And I am grateful that you're hosting this thing tonight. I think Ashley's about 30 feet that way in this office. It's been this is the second call today for me. It's in group call like this. And welcome everyone. It's a pleasure. Glad to talk to you guys tonight. This is what I was a couple of weeks ago out. Malcolm and I were talking about the fact that we have now grown. Our little company is grown to the point where we've got a decent amount of leaders, enough that we should probably be gathering. And Malcolm was generous enough to open this on his Zoom line a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and we'll do this again tonight. Those of you who are new, I follow a kind of a loose, tight presentation style. I was given the following weird compliment, Malcolm. It was like, you're a professional, unprofessional public speaker. And I thought, I'll take it. That's good. I remember having some friends that were in something called the National Speakers Association, and some of them invited me to present at their meetings and whatnot. And they're like, you're not a National Speakers Association. It's like, I was never, I don't know. It's just a thing. I would have loved to have been, but it never happened. They go, okay. They would announce me as the most professional, unprofessional speaker. I'm going to try in that vein. We'll see. This is the thing that should right now, Malcolm is like clinching, like, please don't blow it. I'm going to try to share screen. So it says share disabled. What happened last week? It's okay. I don't need to share screen. I can go without, like it did last week.
Wait on. You just got to ask me to share. That's all you got to do. And I host tools where we got. I can change you as the host, but then I lose control. I hate.
Don't worry, Malcolm. I'll go low tech. I did last week. It was easy enough to do.
Give it to you. Let me find this. Here, let me get you. Gordon.
You don't trust that I could do it without a net, brother.
I know you can do it. Make host.
I
don't know why yours is difficult. Anyone else, it's just like allow. They say, please share, and I go allow. There you go. You're the host.
Hi. Oh my goodness. I'm taking over, Malcolm. Okay, so let me try. Share. Okay. I'm going without the screen. Your browser is preventing access to your screen share. No worries. This happened last week. I can go without. Easy enough to do. Okay, now it says, don't worry about it. It's giving me all kinds of messages. But I was going to say on this professional, unprofessional public speaker thing, Malcolm, I was invited once to, by default, somebody got sick, and at the last minute, they invited a business partner of mine, who I will one day show a picture of. It's a picture of me and him and Ray. And they invited him and he couldn't go. And so I got invited by a guy named Mark Victor Hansen to speak at something called Go Presidential Weekend in Virginia Beach. And I had no business being there because I was my first year in a distributorship, and I'd done enough public speaking, little bits, and that he felt comfortable with it. And I actually took this. There's a picture somebody took because he wrote on a piece of paper after I finished public speaking. You guys, I was ignorance on fire. Ignorance on fire beats knowledge on ice. Feel free to write that down. It was one of the phrases that changed my life. Ignorance on fire beats knowledge on ice. And I was, and still am in many ways, ignorance on fire. This is what he wrote in his handwriting. I'm trying to read his handwriting, circa 1999. Gordon is destined to become one of the greatest public speakers of all time. I'm not kidding. I would have showed you this. You could see it. If you have the chance to be in his energy orbit, walk over crushed glass if you have to. I like him. And he wrote Mark Victor Hansen, the guy that wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. And he wrote it and he said, feel free to use that at any time. If you need an introduction or people are wondering if you've public spoken before, I was like, wow, thanks. He was probably one of the most important people I think one in every 3 or 5 books on the New York Times bestsellers was one of his at the time. It was really a strange time. He had all these books, not Chicken Soup for the Soul, but Chicken Soup also for the teenage soul, and Chicken Soup for like the rodeo grandma soul, and every variation of it. And Ray knows. Ray met him a few times back in the day. He was a fellow distributor in a company that I was in. And he used to tell me, and everyone else, he would do these things where he'd say, don't just think it, ink it. And that's what my first slide says tonight. So you have to visualize it. Imagine like a beautiful little slide. It's actually pretty janky, but it just says, don't just think it, ink it. And I'm going to challenge everybody on the line tonight. We're talking leadership discussion. Malcolm entitled this as a leadership remarks. We're doing this because there are people here that they need giant food for giants. And we're now getting to the point where we got a couple of good sized pin levels in this company, Malcolm included. And so we have to challenge you guys. Don't just think it, ink it. If you got some big, hairy, audacious goals that you want to set in life, write them down. Don't just, I think maybe I can do this with my life. Maybe I could potentially do this if the planets align. No, write it down. And I'll give you a challenge. Write down some small goals, some medium goals, and some big, hairy, audacious goals. Goals so big that they scare the blazes out of you. You think that starting this thing was just like, I'll roll out of bed and start a international olive supplement company? No, there's some serious thought goes into this. And it's a goal that was so big, scared the blazes out of me. I was off doing other things for the last 8 to 9 years before we started this thing. And I talked to a few folks, one of them being Ray. And even before we really officially launched, Ray put me on the phone with this guy named Malcolm. The thunder from down under is what Ray said when he introduced you, Malcolm. And I was like, that's a group of strippers in Vegas. You might want to come up with a better tagline. Hey, by the way, thanks for look at you. I don't know what they're paying you, Malcolm, but that ain't enough. That kind of talent doesn't just wander in off the street. Look at that. He gave me, don't just think it, ink it. I actually saw a name appear on the line tonight that knows the guy that I was talking about, Mark Victor Hansen. But the guy, one of them, they say success has many fathers, and I have said this a couple of times. In this industry right here, there's a few, my father being quintessentially the most important, shared lots of life lessons, but there are a few that I've had. Ray clearly I've quoted them before. I think I quote Ray more than I quote like Gandhi. It's like Gandhi, he's got a lot of quotes. He's very quotable. Ray's very quotable. I don't have the Southern accent though, and it helps with Ray. But one of the guys that I was lucky enough to be mentored by is a guy named Ken Pontius. And I was fortunate at one point in my life. I was young, I was 30, and I recruited Ray as part of Team Paragon. Ray, that was the distributorship name. And it was me and Ken Pontius and one other guy, Dwayne Dyer, who just joined last week. It's a little surreal. And Ray knows this part. I got to introduce Ray to this legend named Ken Pontius. And they became friends. And I was in the middle of it going, Ray, Ken, Ray. And then they started talking, and Ken has that kind of Missouri accents, and so they kind of started in their bro talk, and I kind of got left out at the side for a while, and it was still a pretty beautiful thing. Anyway, this guy Ken Pontius, I'll show you a picture of him next week on the main call. He used to talk in little analogies like Ray does because he's from Missouri. By the way, this is an interesting thing about him. He would always talk about this kid Bradley that he coached in baseball, and then I go to his house and I see on the wall are 3 years that he coached Little League, and Brad Pitt was one of the kids that he coached because Brad Pitt grew up in Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, right? And there's a picture of the guy that mentored me, Ken Pontius, with the little baseball teams that his son was on, and Brad Pitt. And he looks the same with the dimples, but he's just tiny. He was wearing a baseball cap. And he would always say, Bradley, I'm going to call Bradley and see if he'll speak at one of our meetings. And I was like, Ken, I don't know how to break it to you. Bradley has become quite big in life. I think he's doing okay. He probably doesn't have to come to our network marketing meeting. Maybe knock yourself out, give it a shot. But Ken used to tell these little stories and the way that he would teach things to me. And I always knew if he said, oh, my aching back, I knew I was in trouble. Okay. Because he'd say, solve this problem or figure this out. And so he told the story once about this happened. Folks, for those of you who are not from America, I'll give you a little education about some geography. There's an area of California, it's just in the kind of San Francisco Bay area called Monterey, California. Not Monterey, Mexico, different place. Monterey Bay, California. Very close by is an area called Carmel by the Sea. The mayor at one point was Clint Eastwood. Crazy as that is. Malcolm knows who Clint Eastwood is. We've talked about it before, but Clint Eastwood was the mayor of Carmel by the Sea. Well, many years ago, up until the 70s, that was a fishing port. It was, you would see Monterey Bay Canning Company, and it was a very big fishery, bringing sardines, commercial fishing. Well, it got overfished, and then they did a fishing ban. And so fishing pulled out. Now, one of the things that you see if you go to Monterey, I was there 2 years ago with my wife, three years ago with my wife on a weekend, and you'll see in the sunsets and things, these beautiful pelicans. They look beautiful from a distance. Up close, they're a little gross and smell a little weird, but they're this part of the skyline in Monterey. So when the fishing pulled out, they ended up with an unexpected natural disaster, and that was that these pelicans started dying. It was really bad for tourism because pelicans emaciated, dying on the beach isn't good for tourism. So they had an economic crisis. Now, the reason why those pelicans were dying was because when fishing pulled out, at the end of the day, when all the fishing vessels would come out, they'd clean the fish and throw all the guts out into the water. And the pelicans got soft, generations and generations of them never learning how to fish on their own. They had no skill, and they would just die. And it was really bad. You see it on the news, and it's just these poor pelicans, just mangy looking things. And people start wigging out. It's California, right? This is the kind of thing that people get really upset about. The rest of the world too, all of us as well, but especially California. So they tried everything, and they couldn't fix it. And finally, some kid that was in a program in university in the Bay Area came up with an idea. They went all the way to the other side of the United States to an area that looked geographically very similar to Monterey Bay. And they found these wild hunter pelicans in Florida. And they shipped those buggers all the way across the United States and dumped them in the communities in Monterey Bay, California. And here's the thought. The thought was the wild hunter pelicans that have never been given a free lunch would mate with the ones that had become bougie and didn't know how to fish. And if we're lucky, their offspring would be able to fish, and we would save the population. Well, that whole thing came with a bit of a surprise. The hope was they would save the population in one generation. The surprise was that within weeks, the soft pelicans in Monterey Bay started to fish on their own. They started to watch the wild hunter pelicans that they brought in that had been dumped into their area that weren't native there. And they watched them fish, and they figured it out. And you didn't need a generation. You just needed it was like 6 weeks. And this college kid probably got like free tuition for the rest of it. I would think it would be probably appropriate. Here's the takeaway. The takeaway is important. And this call is very much an example of that. There's a Jewish proverb that says, he that walks with the wise becomes wise. Another way to put it is the friends and associates you choose determine your destiny. That is from Modern Psychiatry. That's actually out of a psychiatric magazine. Here's one more. If your 9 best friends are losers, you're about to become number 10. That's Les Brown, the most quotable guy. Ray knows him. We've had a chance. He is a National Speakers Association member, and I got to meet him several times in my life. But he says, if your 9 best friends are losers, you're about to become number 10. And he sounds a lot like Ray when he says it. I think he's from Bama, though, Ray. I don't think he's from Oklahoma. So, folks, sociologists point to this as a leading factor to criminal behavior as well. The reason they say it is whether you live in a prison or you live in a palace, you tend to become like everyone else. And they tell you if you've ever been incarcerated, one of the things that they will tell, I'm just telling you, this is what modern psychology tells you, is that if you, when you leave, they say the best thing you can do so you don't go back is find new friends. Again, the quote, whether you live in a palace or whether you live in a prison, you tend to be around like the people you hang out with. If you want to change behavior in life, if you've been a certain way for years and you want to change that, get new friends. And when I say that, I'm not saying disregard all your friends, but if you've ever run into somebody, and it happens occasionally, I'll run into somebody that I've known many years ago in college or early in my career, and you haven't seen them in 20, 30 years. And sometimes you see them and you're like, wow, you look great. You know, you optimistic, you look great. And then every once in a while you run into his friends and you're like, what happened to you? You're ridiculously negative. You don't have a shred of optimism about business. You feel like the entire system is rigged against you. We can all feel like that on certain occasions, but you run into the guy and you say, what happened to you? Who pushed you in a different direction in life? And the truth is, many times they're not pushed. If people are pushed, they feel like they're being pushed. But if you get around the wrong group of people and they're not optimistic and they're not feeding their brain, they'll nudge you in a certain direction, as Jim Rohn says. Who nudged you? And after years and years of the wrong kind of thinking and the wrong kind of talking and the wrong kind of behaving, you end up becoming like the rest of a group. And one of the reasons I was challenging Malcolm when we were talking 2 weeks ago to let's start gathering this group is because every one of these calls like this, where it's giant food for giant, it makes us sharper. We can talk a little more freely than they would on a general call. If anybody knows who Aristotle Onassis is, he was I think he was a billionaire before billionaires were cool. Many years ago, he was he married the widow Jacqueline Onassis.
He was the
Jacqueline
shipping
Kennedy.
magnate.
Very good.
Great.
He was like the Greek biggest
oil
shipping magnate in the world.
Maybe he drank olive oil every day.
Sure did. He's Greek. He also hung out in Italy a lot, Portofino. I love Malcolm. Malcolm nerds out on the same weird crap that I nerd out on. And he married Jacqueline Kennedy. She was pretty cute. And he didn't do a lot of interviews, but he was like, at one point, he was the richest man on the planet, apparently. And he didn't do a lot of interviews, but late in life, a press journalist managed to convince him to do an interview and wanted to talk to him about how did you become as big as you were in business. And the question was, the journalist asked him, as he said, there's a lot of people in life see you and realize how much wealth you've accumulated. How would somebody in this day and age, with the current state of the world, because this was late 60s, early 70s, right? And it was pretty negative in the world. They said, how did somebody get rich? And he said, if you want to be rich, associate with the rich. That was his response to the journalist. If you want to be rich, associate with the rich. And the journalist, being a journalist, said, it's very nice for you to say, smarty, but what if the rich don't want to cooperate? What if they don't want to hang out with me? And he's like, you go to them. They're not going to come to you. You go hang out. You hang out where successful people hang out. You read what they're reading. You do what they're doing. You listen to what they're listening to. And what happens is suddenly the rising tide raises all ships, to quote JFK. Or Jacqueline Onassis' first husband. Um, here's a little great piece of news, folks. Here's the Oliabo answer. The Hunter Pelicans are on this call right now. They're Hunter Pelicans on this call. They're people on this call, Malcolm being one of them, that have created large successful networks, large successful businesses, large successful entrepreneurial ventures that have become, at one point or another in history, the talk of the town internationally. And I know this, that Ray is on this call tonight, and I can see his face over there. He's drinking coffee. I'm still drinking Pellegrino, Ray. It's too late for caffeine for me. Ray and I have had we have had Italian food in Italy. We've had Thai food in Thailand. We've had Hawaiian food in Hawaii. We've had, Ray, we can keep going as long as you want on that one. I don't know how many meals we've shared on beaches around the world or across the globe, but he's fond of saying success leaves clues. And when Ray's talked historically, I'm one of these cats that used to write a lot of notes. I was a fan of Ray when I was, okay, Ray does these things. He used to say to me, this is many years ago, Ray used to introduce me and say, if you can get lucky enough to hitch your goal to hitch your plans to a young man's goals, you can build the business of your dreams. He used to say that. And I was like, he doesn't say that anymore. It's because I'm getting a little long in the tooth, Ray. You know that, right? So it doesn't work anymore, but it was a pretty good shtick when you introduced me back then. I used to pay a lot of attention, and I still do, to everything he says. Again, on this call, and this call is giant food for giants. It's leadership call. I'll tell you what, our host, Malcolm, has done an awful lot of tremendously huge things with his life. I don't know if you've noticed, he doesn't play small in anything. He doesn't play small. The thing is, and I told this to Malcolm, if we do these calls, I will love these calls. I need you guys. Ray needs these calls. Malcolm needs these calls. I'm looking at Bob, Ashley. Ashley's in the next room. Matter of fact, Ashley, young
Yes.
Ashley. We kicked off something about social today, and there's a little experiment we're starting, you guys. We just turned on our studio, and there's a reason for this. You heard about a young influencer we talked to yesterday. It's Blur. Actually, was it yesterday?
I know.
Talked to Katie.
Yeah. Yep.
Blur. And earlier today, we talked about the reaction that person had. I've been talking to Ashley about, she has to nudge some of us, not push, nudge some of us technologically in the right direction. I am like on social media, I'm like a plow horse in the Kentucky Derby, you guys. I am not sophisticated at social media. But the association with many folks in our energy orbit does me good. I asked Ashley to take a second tonight, with your permission, by the way, Hefe being Ray and Malcolm. Can I turn a second to Ashley so she can share a little bit of something that can help everybody with their business efforts?
Absolutely.
Right on. Good.
Thanks,
We'd rather listen
guys.
to her anyway. So,
Well,
Ashley,
I hope I can.
take it away.
Okay, I'm going to share some slides.
One thing, Ashley. Did you
Yes.
see how easy that was, Gordon? Ashley said, "Can I share? Allow." I think you're jinxed, Mr. CEO.
Hey, what did I just say? I'm your host, Malcolm. I'm not technologically. I will rather just like play my acoustic guitar, but the robots control me too, brother. I'm still wearing an analog watch. That should tell you something. So,
Well, if it makes it better, I can't see myself. Yeah. Oh, thank you guys for letting me come on today too. And thank you, Gordon. And to reiterate what Gordon was saying, it for sure is who you're hanging out with, who you're being with, is who you're going to be like. I find that in everyone that I'm with. The reason I'm here in this office is because I was with the right people. For 20 years, I've known Gordon. I've known Joe. I've known Curtis. And knowing all of them has put me in the position that I'm in today. I 100% do not doubt that. All right, now I'm going to share a few slides with you guys. please, I am begging you, do not get overwhelmed by what I'm about to show you. I decided to save this information for this leadership call specifically because I felt like you guys could handle it. I don't know if the 2 p.m. call could, but it will all be in the studio if you guys want to download any of this information as well. So I'm going to start with a few slides. Let me get that up and going. And okay, hopefully, oh no. Is this right? Can you guys see that okay? Okay.
I can see a quarter of it.
Oh, a quarter. Oh no, why?
I can see
Your screen
push.
sharing is paused. Why is it
Did you see how
paused?
cocky Malcolm got too? Malcolm was super
No.
cocky, like
Okay,
it's
hang
my
on.
fault.
Hang on.
You're gonna prove Malcolm
You had a
right.
full slide.
Okay.
Yeah, now you
Okay.
got it.
Oh, you can. How can you see it?
I'll go back
I'm not
again.
even sharing. Okay, wait.
There
I
it
see
is.
it.
There
Oh,
it is.
no,
Oh,
wait,
but
I
when
see.
you hit the
Continue.
play,
Okay, wait. Continue to share. Resume. You guys, what is what? Oh, no.
if you do the one view that you had, Ashley, we can see it. So
You can't see it
You
now?
do the view with your
this is a
task.
little more than Malcolm wants to type.
Hey,
Oh
just
my
like that.
goodness.
That's it. Right
I
there.
can see that.
Oh, you
Just
can
like
see
that.
this.
Yes.
Oh. But it looked okay. That works great.
By the way,
You can see
there's
all
a
my
fiver in
slides.
it for you. Thank you for making me look better with technology for you having the problem. Because Ashley is the one I always go, I look, hey, Ashley, all day long, can you help me? I don't even want to tell you the stupid question I asked about an hour ago about social. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, there it is.
Look at
This is all
that.
I'm going to share. I'm not even going to try to present it again. So so this week we're trying to do a social push, trying to show everyone tools, different ways they can use social media for their business. And surprise, surprise, I have stats for you because I'm obsessed with stats and I'm obsessed with learning. So hopefully you will learn something today. If not, maybe just pretend so I feel a little bit better about this work that I've done. Okay, so social media give leaders more reach. It's the truth. Even if it's not it's a way to get into doors. It's a different avenue to show products. So 78% of social sellers outsell peers who do not use social media. That is a huge stat. That's really important. Let's see. 45% are more likely to exceed quota when leaders regularly share company content. We have so much content on our social media, and the next slide I'll show you how to share it. I mean, if I can get that far, we'll see.
It looks great. I can see it perfect, by the way.
Oh, good. Okay. So 76% of consumers have bought a product they first saw on a social media post. That's also huge. If you were on the last call, I talked about something I bought off of TikTok because I saw it, immediately purchased it. It was the right price point. I didn't think twice about it. So this is a really good tool to have as our social media. So what I'm going to do is I stopped sharing this, but I am going to share something else real quick. And it's this video. I'm just going to try this. Okay. Hopefully you can see it. So I'm going to share this video. And this is what I don't want you guys to be concerned of. It will be in studio. You'll be able to download it, stop it, start it. But what this video is, oh, go ahead.
Give me 1 second. I have to go to
Okay.
share myself because I didn't optimize videos and anything because I didn't think we had some. Just
Okay.
un momento. Okay. And then we'll
Okay.
be ready for everyone. Just 1 sec.
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
you guys wait. You guys get a little bit of a 1 second. One more thing. There we go. And I'm getting out of here. I'm going to stop sharing. There you go. Now your video will play and everybody will hear the sound.
Thank you. Everyone can see it. You're good. Okay.
Yep.
So this is just showing you how to put your replicated site on a previously used Oliabo, like there are content, a story, a reel, anything like that. So people can click it. So again, I saved it for you guys, not the 2 p.m. call, because this is a leadership call. So I wanted you guys to have it. All right, here we go.
Ashley, I'm not sure there's supposed to be sound or not, but there is no sound.
Really?
Yeah. It's
I'm
Oh
on.
actually
no.
taking notes. I didn't know there wasn't supposed to be sound. I'm looking at it,
Oh,
but I see what you're
I
doing.
have a voiceover over it. You can't hear that? Oh no. It's okay. Well,
We kind of got
it's
we
circled.
got it.
It okay. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing.
I
Oh
actually
shoot.
came away with a key takeaway because it was about what I was asking you about earlier with the sharing. So
Oh,
I
that's
got it.
actually so funny. But so on that, I'm just kind of explaining how to do all the things where the circles are. It's basically just my voiceover telling you where to go. So it might seem a little difficult for people who don't regularly use Instagram or haven't done that before. But let me tell you, once you get the hang of it, it's so fun to put that little link somewhere when you want people to go to different places. So this goes to your story that everyone sees. And it's such an easy clickable way to get people to your replicated website. I would love for you guys to try this. It's just one of the tools, one of the ways to open the door for other people to get the conversation started for your business. And I'm going to work on different tools, especially if this person is coming in. She can help a ton, kind of show you how to use social media to convert into real person events or meetings, because honestly, that's where it's at. All the stats are showing how important in-person meetings are. So that is, yes, I will show you. Oh, you want me to show you one more time? I'll show you. I'll, you, okay, all right. I'm giving into peer pressure, you guys. Do you want me to just tell you what's going on with this real quick? I can do it,
Please.
and then it will be in studio. Okay, let's see. Share. And okay. Oh, this is hard because I can hear my voice talking. So I'm just
On the
going
screen,
to
on the clip.
I can, yeah, on this I can hear. Okay, let's just turn my volume down so I can't actually hear it. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Okay. So, what you need to do is go into your studio app. Oh, and I'm talking before this, so it's going to take a second. Go into your studio app, click that button on the bottom, which is your share. Go to my Oliabo site link, click that copy button, and that will copy your replicated site. Now open up Instagram, and you're going to go to Oliabo Official and scroll through it and see what post you want to share, what you like best. I really liked this one, so I'm going to click that little arrow or paper airplane and click share, and then add to story. So click that little sticker, and that will bring up that link button. This seems like a lot of steps, but it's not. Now you paste your replicated site that you copied from the studio, and now you can write anything in here. You can write shop, you can write come to my website or Oliabo. So that when you click it after you share it in your story will lead to your replicated site directly. Now click your stories, and it also shares to your Facebook. So that's how we make it a little bit easier. So that was my voiceover kind of for this. So hopefully that helps a little bit more when
That was
I'm
amazing. I haven't even seen this video. This twice today. I've
okay.
seen the video.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that explains it a little bit better. But again, Studio app, you guys can download it, stop it, start it, make sure, you know, you have the steps down. I know how annoying that is when when I want to know how to do something and I have to stop it and start it because I don't know all the steps. So hopefully you guys can try this.
That's what
it's
you had
really
to do
fun.
for me today. That was amazing. I can't believe you had to do that for me today. So
no, no, yours was a harder question. But yeah,
so nice. You liar.
But yeah, that's our social media push for this call today.
And Ashley, thank you. And I'm going to lead the witness just
You're
a little
welcome.
bit because you already know this. There's a couple people like the person we met with yesterday, and folks on the line, this is something to get excited about. I know getting into this new area where, by the way, you don't have to use the app. You can use the portal. Studio is a portal and it's also an app. And we forget to say that at times, but this bold new world that we're jumping into, here's what you can, if you get a good affiliate, a good influencer online, they'll do a post and you'll have 70 orders like that. That's why there's a motivation to actually get this. I know I've said this before at the beginning with Malcolm and Ray. I think the problem with traditional direct selling these days is that we can dream big, but we keep it a little complicated. And the problem with the traditional affiliates has been that they dream small, but they keep it simple. We have it now where you can place an order so easy that it's streamlined. So when you have an affiliate, you bring them in, they'll do a post and just say, you guys, you'll like this olive oil, try this. And then they hit send. And in 20 minutes, you can get 30, 40, 50 orders. It happens all the time. Ashley, I don't know if you would be so bold as to venture what that young lady's social following is like that we met with yesterday. You actually know her. We both know her, but she doesn't want to hang out with me. She hangs out with Ashley. She's a friend of Ashley's. What do you think she has on social? Yes.
Hundreds of thousands probably. And she's not just, there for social media. She is a leader. This girl is incredible, is strong, is exactly the kind of person we want at Oliabo. Yeah,
it's true. She went to coffee with me because she was invited by Ashley, and that was it was brilliant. So Ashley,
Morton,
thank
can I
you.
interrupt for just a sec?
Yeah, man. Of course, Ray.
I'm thinking about this lady. We don't know who she is, but you guys do, and you're kind of impressed with her, and she's a big influencer, and maybe she comes on board with us, maybe she don't, but if she does, and she exercises her influence and just creates a tremendous amount of volume in this company, would it not behoove people to go premium? Just saying.
She'll go. She can. Like you have no idea. Like Ray, this is what I was getting at. This is the thing. Are you leading the witness? Do you want me to answer that? Is that
yes?
Okay, I will, because you know the riff I'm about to go on, folks. There is a little thing. I spent a lot of time in my life sleeping in my clothes on airplanes, going to destinations. You hear these stories about our previous lives, and we've all spent time on airplanes. And you run into the people in the crown room or whatever, if you're a medallion, and they, you do that thing like, oh, you're a diamond or you're a platinum. Where did you go? And you're like, well, I went to Phuket and I went to Europe 5 times this year, and I had business in Russia. Destinations that get you all these mileage so you can hit like diamond, platinum on. I'm using Delta's terminology, but then you run into that dude and you're like, hey, where'd you go? And they're like, I never left the continental United States. And you go, how is this possible that you're a diamond and you're in the crown room and you didn't fly internationally? And they're like, because on Mondays I get on an airplane and I go to Walla Walla. And then on Tuesdays I fly and I go to Boise, Idaho. And on Boise, I go to Reno. And from Reno, I go to Carson City. And then I end up back in Salt Lake City every Friday. And I do it all on segments. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is a thing. You could go diamond and platinum with segments. And then I'm like, dude, you have as much right to be in a crown room or pre-board as any other dude that's flying internationally. As a matter of fact, more respect to you. The same is true of affiliates. We have a program now, and we have set this comp plan up from day one. Premio Pay is set up to reward not just this whole horizontal compression you hear about. And everybody's like, and Ray will say clever things like, it's a lot more fun to experience than to explain. Ray, you hit 100K really because a lot of the horizontal compression that you experienced. And you know that exponentially gets multiplied because I wanted to reward pancakes like it's pyramids, okay? Pancakes to pyramids. People are like, you can't say pyramid. I can say whatever I want. I'm 59. I'm old. Look how gray my beard is. I'm going to say it. Pancakes to pyramids. Anything in life is a pyramid, right? Like I'm a dad. My daughters roll their eyes and say patriarch and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I didn't make the rules. When you get your own planet, you can figure out the system. But things are built triangularly. But in the affiliate world, it's very much pancakes. They just put a post and a bunch of people sign up and they buy product. And I was like, why don't we reward them? So you can reward yourself all the way to Italy and all the way to the global bonus based on this idea of horizontal compression. That, to my knowledge, folks, had never been done before. There may be some weird marketing mutant aging like me that has cracked the code, but I don't think so. So let me circle back. This is a beautiful thing I love about talking to Malcolm. He's as ADD as I am sometimes. And what you do notice about Malcolm is that we'll go off on a tangent and talk about Tom Cruise and importing F-150 pickups, but we usually end up back where we started a conversation. So let me loop back where I'll finish off where I started about this. My mentor, Ken Bonius, would call his Pelican principle. It's what he called the lecture. And he would give it about when he would get a certain leadership level, you would get invited to these leadership functions. And his speech was called Pelican principle. And it's what I told you about. It's a piece of American history that happened. Here's the Pelican points. Each of those hunter pelicans were different, but they all worked together. They didn't attack each other. They didn't eat the slower pelicans. They realized that the fish was the food and not the other pelicans. We have some big, hairy, audacious goals. I certainly have. I actually like what I'm doing. Ray knows it. I'm a masochist. I'm digging it. I actually enjoy it. Like, I enjoy talking to Malcolm about everything from he electrocuted himself. It's a true story. And we weaved back to a discussion of leadership. You didn't electrocute yourself. You got electrocuted, though. And so it's a fascinating story, guys. That's for a different call. But we end up at the back, where we started. And folks, this is the group right here. We all need each other. That distributorship I was in, my mentor, we called it Team Paragon. Ray knows because his upline was Team Paragon. And we would say, together, everyone achieves more. It's true. I want everyone on this call to be successful. I want you to look in this group pictures here, because if we do this right, all of us can have success. All of us. And I can see Malcolm straight in my view here. But I want you to look across left or right, whichever your view looks like, and count down like 3 random people or 4 and say, I am completely happy with Malcolm having success and 3 people down having success and 4 across, and however you want to do it, because together, these calls right here make us a stronger entity. Also, it makes us bulletproof for I'll tell you what, I'm a pretty nice guy. I think I'm reasonably nice. The competition is the enemy. The competitors are the enemy. I wake up every day and I'm like, if my neighbors are in whatever companies, great, give me a hug. I think you're great. We're friends, but you're also a competitor. You're the enemy in the workplace, right? That when I say enemy, it's engagement, rules of engagement and all, but we want to win. That's the thing. I want everybody on this call to win. We have to be good with each other winning. So nature has the answers, folks. This is my last point, and then I'll turn it back to Malcolm. And Ray, I think, Ray, you might be speaking tonight. Sorry if I'm being lengthy here, but it took hundreds of pelicans from Florida that they had to take in these crates and ship them across the United States to Monterey Bay, California. We all need each other. Everybody on this call, you have all kinds of different personality types, and you blend them all together, and suddenly we have one place we can plug in and feed our brains at a different level. We can talk about things at a leadership level you can't talk about on the Wednesday call at 2 o'clock, because we have to start with the basics. So yeah, it'll dramatically increase our chances for success. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Gratitude from my little office here in Murray, Utah, and Ashley's right there. I'm gratitude, Ashley. You stayed late tonight, and thankfully, if we had a crisis in the computer, she would come over and help me fix that. I think Curtis is over there somewhere.
I couldn't help you,
Anyway, but
Gordon.
you liar. You're better than I am at this stuff. So, thank you, Malcolm, brother. Can I brag on you for a second, if you don't mind, before I throw it back? And you and Ray, I appreciate you hosting this thing. It's a pain in the butt. I know it's like you have to set up the Zooms. I know I got to do it. I have to set up the Zooms. I regularly sweat it out in front of a bunch of people watching, going, "This guy, really? This guy's the CEO?" I'm like, I get it. Sometimes it comes with the unglamorous moments where you have to like click and whatever. Dude, you're gonna have peeps really soon. You'll have some dude that like with a Harry Adams apple lives in his parents' basement, and like he'll come over and do all your AV for you. I just know it. So thanks for hosting this call, brother. Ray, I love you to death. I feel like it's been like over 24 hours since I talked to you, which is I'm going through withdrawal. So
I love you too.
blessings.